Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this video and do share this video to your friends. Our online crash course for CAT has started. So if you wanted to enroll with us, do join the WhatsApp group as well as do connect on socials and ask for the details. We will share the details. If you are having any queries regarding MBA preparation, do let us know. We will solve out your queries. Also, the test series has started a lot. So those students who wanted to give the mock test free of cost, you can enroll for us. So guys, if you are preparing for MBA entrance exams and you are only focusing on CAT, there is a good chance that you are missing out some of the very useful alternative. One of the exams that you should definitely know about NMAT is it is conducted by NMAT by GMAT. आज हम बात करेंगे end to end NMAT के बारे में, the registration process, application form, test strategies, and what makes NMAT interesting. So let's get started, guys. Unlike many entrance exam where you get only one shot, NMAT allows you to take the exam 3 times in a testing cycle, and that is not only the advantage. There is no negative marking. You can decide the order in which you can attempt the sections, and you can get a fairly long testing window. And here's the catch, guys. Having flexibility doesn't automatically mean you will get the good score. You need to understand how the attempts work, when you should take the exam, whether you should retake the exam, how rescheduling is different from retake, how much the exam actually cost, and most importantly what happens after you get your NMAT score. So in this video I'm going to break down NMAT from start to finish, the pattern, attempts, fees, college applications, preparation strategy, and the mistakes that you should avoid. So let's start with absolute basics, guys. NMAT is Management Entrance Examination conducted by GMAC. For many MBA aspirants, the biggest reason to consider NMAT is that it opens doors to MMS and several other B schools in India as well as abroad. But I wanted to clarify one thing at the beginning. NMAT is not an one admission exam in the sense that after clearing it, it gives you guarantee to have a seat into the B school. Your NMAT score is primarily a part of screening process. So imagine this entire process in 3 stages. First, you prepare and take NMAT. Second, your score helps you to get shortlisted by the colleges which you are targeting. Third, you go through the respective colleges selection process, which includes interviews, group discussion, written ability tests, case discussions, and other evaluation round depending upon the institute. So guys, don't make the mistake of thinking if I score well in NMAT, my MBA admission is done. No, your score gets you into the conversation, but your profile and performance in the all the rounds of NMAT will help you to get the B school. That is why you should think NMAT as a gateway rather than a final destination. Again, GMAT, which is one of the best exam to get abroad MBS, the same exam and the authority conducts NMAT. So if you prepare for GMAT, it is quite easy for you to convert and crack NMAT. Now let's understand NMAT exam pattern because this is where NMAT starts becoming the different from other exams like CAT. Exam has 108 questions where you will get 120 minutes to solve. There are 3 sections. First is language section which has 36 questions. This section tests areas reading comprehension, grammar, vocabulary and language. The second is quantitative skills with 36 questions. You can expect areas arithmetic, algebra, data interpretation, data sufficiency. Third section is logical listening. Again 36 questions. This covers verbal listening, analytical listening and different types of logical puzzles. So you need to understand one thing while going up through the exam is 36 questions in language, 36 in quant, 36 in logical listening. This makes 108 questions overall and you'll get 120 minutes. And now one of the important feature of this NMAT is there's no negative marking. So you'll have that ability to decide which section you wanted to attempt. So it means your strategy can actually make a meaningful difference to your performance. When it comes to language, focus on reading, grammar, vocabulary. When it comes to quant, shed some light on arithmetic, algebra, data interpretation, and logical listening. Try to focus and spend some energy on verbal and analytical listening as well as puzzles. Now let's talk about the two rules that NMAT particularly makes interesting. The first one is there's no negative marking. So in an exam with no negative marking, it means that if there's a negative marking, people think that should I attempt this question or not? Because wrong question can cost you a lot. But NMAT don't have that particular problem. So if you are genuinely tried a question and you are running out the time, you can make an educated guess rather than leaving it blank. The important point here is you should aim to attempt all 108 questions. A blank answer gives you a zero opportunity to score, but a guess at least gives you a possibility of getting the question right. Second advantage is section order flexibility. To decide which section you wanted to attempt first. For example, suppose you are extremely comfortable with logical reasoning, but you need more time for quant. Then you could potentially start with LR, build momentum, and then move into the other sections. However, don't keep changing your order every time you take a mock. Once you identify the order that works for you, practice with the same order repeatedly. You want your actual exam to feel familiar rather than experiential, then this is how you should follow. Now let's talk about NMAT calendar. One of the attractive thing about NMAT is that the exam is not restricted to single day. Testing window generally runs across several weeks. You have a registration period, a scheduling period, then the actual exam window. And this gives you a significantly more flexibility as compared to an exam where everyone sits for the test on the same day. But there is an important strategic point here, guys. Don't confuse a long exam window with a limited flexibility. Your preferred date, time, and center may not necessarily available if you want, basically if you wait until the last day. So if you already know that you are going to take the NMAT exam, keep an eye on the registration and scheduling windows. The deck mentions about typical annual rhythm, but exact date can shift from one year to another. So for the current cycle, make sure that you will verify the final dates on official NMAT by GMAC portal. Your objective should be very simple, guys. Register on time, choose a multiple suitable slot, and leave enough room in your calendars for the preparation. रजिस्ट्रेशन अर्ली अगस्त में स्टार्ट होता है, मिड अक्टूबर के आसपास क्लोज हो जाएगा. आप अगस्त से अक्टूबर के अंदर एनमैट शेड्यूल कर सकते हो. And November to December there is a exam window for you. So keep that thing into mind and prepare for it. Now we are getting into one of the most confusing parts of NMAT, retake versus reschedule. And trust me, these two words are very different. Let's say you have booked your NMAT exam on 15th of month, and now you realize that you have an important commitment on that date and you wanted to move your exam to another date. So that's rescheduling, guys. You are not taking the exam again. You are simply moving the same attempt to different slot, subject to applicable rules and fee. Now imagine you actually take an exam on 15th. You get the score and you think that I can do better. I want another shot. That's retake. A retake is completely new attempt, guys. It uses another attempt from your 3 attempt limit and requires a fresh exam fee. So the easiest way to remember is rescheduling is quite equal to same attempt and different slot. Retaking is more about completely looking for new attempt. So don't mix this up because one change in your schedule can cause lot of issues. So keep that thing into your mind. Now let's understand about the attempts. Let's talk about the feature that NMAT is probably known best for, which is 3 attempts. You can take the exam once and then potentially take it 2 more times subject to applicable rules. And it sounds fanatic, guys. But there is one mistake I see aspirants making. They think that I will take my exam first casually, I'll understand the paper, then I'll prepare properly for the second attempt. I won't recommend this. Your first attempt should be treated as your serious attempt. Go into it properly prepared, take your marks, finalize your section order, work on your speed, understand your weak areas, and then give your best shot. Why? Because if you get the score that you want in actual attempt, you already solve the problem. The additional attempt then becomes a safety net rather than something you desperately needed. Also remember that there is a minimum gap between attempts as you specified by NMAT, so you cannot simply take all 3 attempts on consecutive days. Use the gap intelligently. If you do retake, use the time between attempts to identify exactly where you lost marks and where you are going to improve this. Now let's address a myth that has been around for a long period of time, which is only the first attempt counts for NMMS. And this has been historically associated with all the older admission cycles. And this is why the confusion continues even today. But according to current information, NMMS considers your best score across your attempts. That changes the way you should think about NMAT. Your first attempt doesn't go according to the plan. It doesn't necessarily mean that your NMMS opportunity is over, guys. You can potentially use another attempt to improve your score. For example, imagine your score 220 in the first attempt. You analyze your performance and you realize that your quant accuracy was weak. Then you can spend next few weeks on working on that space and take another attempt and improve your score. Under that current policy described here, your improved score can be beneficial. So an important disclaimer that I wanted to give you is admission policies can change from one cycle to another and every year. So before taking a retaking decision, always verify the latest policy which is directly associated with NMMS. The bigger lesson here is don't let outdated information stop you from using the flexibility that NMAT provides. Now let's talk something about that students often ignore until registration day. The actual cost of taking NMAT exam. Registration fee mentioned in the deck is around 3000 rupees plus applicable taxes. Then you have the possibility of additional cost. If you want to reschedule the book slot, then there is a rescheduling fee which is mentioned around 1200. If you decide to take another attempt, that's not the free either. Or retake means paying a fresh exam fee. Then you have score reporting. The deck mentioned that you get 5 free score reports and additional score reports beyond any cost that can approximately around 400 rupees per college. There may be an additional late fee registration if you register during the applicable late registration period. When you are planning to take your MBA entrance budget, don't think like NMAT costs 3000 rupees. Think about the entire possible expenses, registration fee, taxes, potential retake attempts, rescheduling, additional score reports, and separately the additional application fee charged by the college that you are applying. So this is especially important if you are planning to apply for multiple B schools. दिमाग में ये सब चीजें रखो guys. Now this is the important slide for the students who are new to MBA admissions. A score is not a seat, guys. Let's say you take NMAT and you get an excellent score. That's great, but your work doesn't end there. NMAT registration is a separate from the application process of individual colleges. If you're targeting NMMS or other institute, you need to check whether you have to submit a separate application form and whether the application has a separate deadline. And then comes the selection process. Depending upon the institute, you may have GD, PI, case discussions, other evaluation stages. So your preparation shouldn't stop after NMAT. In fact, if you know you are targeting specific colleges, you start thinking about the interviews and selection rounds in advance because you are spending months preparing for NMAT. You get an excellent score, you get shortlisted, and then you underperform in the interview because you haven't prepared for the current affairs, right? So if you don't want to happen that, try to prepare hard, work hard for it. Now let's talk about the opportunity that NMAT can provide. When most candidates hear about NMAT, the first name that comes to mind is NMMS Mumbai. And yes, NMMS Mumbai is one of the major destination for NMAT aspirants. But NMAT is not restricted to just one campus. The deck also mentioned about NMMS campuses such as Bangalore, Hyderabad, Navi Mumbai, Indore. Beyond NMMS, there are several other institutes such as which accept the NMAT score. Right? There are 50 plus B schools in India. So I wanted to tell you one thing which you should keep in mind is don't choose a college just because it accepts NMAT. Acceptance is the only first filter. You should compare the college based on the parameters such as program that you're applying, fees, placement, specialization, alumni network, and your career goals. For example, if your goal is finance, your shortlist should be different from someone targeting marketing operations. So use NMAT as a pathway to build a college shortlist, not simply as another exam to collect. अब बात करते हैं प्रिपरेशन स्ट्रेटेजी के बारे में. How should you prepare for NMAT? The biggest difference you need to understand is NMAT rewards speed and consistency. You have 108 questions and 120 minutes. So you don't have the luxury of spending several minutes on every difficult question. Your preparation should therefore have two components. First one is conceptual preparations. You need to know about arithmetic, algebra, grammar, vocabulary, reasoning. And second component is speed building. You need to learn about how to identify an easy question quickly, solve it efficiently, and move on. Don't fall into the trap of thinking, if I solve every difficult question, I'll score well. That is not necessarily the right approach. In a speed based exam, your ability to collect marks efficiently matters a lot. And that is why marks are so very important. Take full length marks, use your chosen section order, track your time accuracy. After every mock, don't just look at the score. Ask yourself, where did I lose time? Which question should I skip earlier? Which mistakes were conceptual? And which mistakes happened simply because I rushed? This analysis will help you a lot. Lastly, now I wanted to give you a 5 move playbook. If you are serious about NMAT, don't unnecessarily wait until the last minute. Early planning will give you more flexibility and scheduling. Second thing is, don't use your first attempt as an experiment. Prepare properly and try to maximize your score from the beginning. Third thing is, attempt all the questions because there's no negative marking. So don't unnecessarily leave the questions unanswered. Of course, manage your time carefully and don't spend 2 or 3 minutes on same question. Suppose that your section order can influence your confidence and time management. So find the sequence that works for you and practice it repeatedly. Suppose that don't take a retake just because you have one available. Take it for mock performance and analyze and improve realistically. That's how you can turn the 3 attempt feature into actual advantage. So before we wrap up, let me revise everything. NMAT has 108 questions across 3 sections and 120 minutes. There's no negative marking. You can have up to 3 attempts subject to the applicable rules. So you can have more flexibility. Remember the difference between retake and reschedule is retake means you are taking the exam again. Rescheduling means you are simply changing the slot for the next attempt or the same attempt. Fourth one is don't look at registration fee. Consider possible retake fee, rescheduling fee, reporting charges, and finally, NMAT is not there for entire admission process. Your score can help you to get shortlisted, but the college application, subsequent selection rounds are equally important. So don't prepare only to get a score. Prepare to convert that score into admission. Finally, if you're targeting NMMS and other B schools, so put all the energy. The biggest advantage of NMAT is not simply that paper may feel manageable. It's the flexibility. You have multiple attempts. You can choose your section order. There's no negative marking, and you have a relatively flexible testing window. For flexibility without planning can actually become a disadvantage. So if you keep postponing your attempt, don't prepare seriously for attempt one, or randomly change your section order or take re-attempts, right? So if you are preparing for CAT, think of NMAT as a part of your OMAT strategy. Remember, 3 attempts don't mean 3 chances. They mean 3 opportunities to execute your preparation strategy that you have built. If this video has helped you out, guys, do let me know in the comment box. And our online crash course is going to start. So if you are planning for CAT, if you want a personalized guidance, we will help you out. That's it from this video, guys. Do join the WhatsApp groups. Do connect us LinkedIn. Do connect me personally on LinkedIn. We will be there to help you out. That's it from this video, guys. Stay tuned for further updates.